Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am super thrilled to have you here today. Okay, let's just dive right into this. Today, we are focusing on something that represents a massive, and I mean literally game-changing, leap forward in artificial intelligence. If you've been using AI lately, you know it's incredibly powerful, right? But you also probably know it has some pretty frustrating blind spots. Well, today we're breaking down a brand new approach called Luminarch Prime. It's a structured reasoning framework designed to tackle the exact complex problems that make current AI stumble. We're going to look closely at the research, understand exactly what this framework is, and see how it completely changes the way machines actually think.
So here is our quick roadmap for today. First, we'll look at current AI's big problem. Second, we'll meet Luminarch Prime. Third, we'll do a head-to-head matchup. And finally, we'll check out the real-world impact.
All right, let's start right off with step one. Current AI's big problem and the real limits of the standard AI models we're all using right now.
Think about this for a second. Just really think about it. Why does super smart AI still make simple, silly mistakes? It's a great question, isn't it? You can ask an AI to write complex code or summarize a massive report in seconds, and it does it flawlessly. But then, you ask it a tricky logic question, and it completely fails. Think of standard AI kind of like the fastest reader in your class. Imagine this kid can read a 500-page book in 10 minutes. Wow, amazing speed, right? But when you ask him about the plot, he completely forgets who the main character is, he mixes up the ending, and just totally loses the point of the story. That is standard AI in a nutshell. Incredible speed for sure, but it forgets the actual plot when things get a little too complicated.
Let's break down exactly why our quote-unquote fast reader gets so confused. First off, standard AI struggles with high context problems. That basically means when there are hundreds of little details to remember all at once, the AI just drops the ball. Second, it gets lost in difficult scenarios. If the path to the right answer isn't a straight, obvious line, standard AI wanders off. Third, it completely fails at interdisciplinary tasks. So when you mix two different subjects together, like biology and law, the AI gets totally overwhelmed and gives you a bad answer. And finally, it lacks a transparent structure. It just spits out an answer and we have absolutely no idea how it got there. It's exactly like a math student who writes down the final answer but stubbornly refuses to show their work.
So, knowing all those deep flaws, we desperately need a fix. And that brings us to Section 2, Meet Luminarch Prime, which experts are actually calling the missing layer of artificial intelligence.
But before we explain how it works, we absolutely have to credit where this brilliant framework comes from. Luminarch Prime is firmly based on the triune harmonic dynamics research, which is often just called THD for short. This foundational research was developed by Kevin L. Brown, an incredibly forward-thinking researcher, inventor, and author. His groundbreaking work on THD is what provides the deep, logical foundation that allows Luminarch Prime to fix the exact blind spots in AI that we just talked about. Okay, so the crucial point here is the definition itself. Luminarch Prime is a coherence-driven reasoning framework designed to help AI systems analyze difficult problems with greater structure. Now, let's put that in everyday terms. Coherence, well, that just means things sticking together and making logical sense. Luminarch is like a strict, brilliant tutor that sits right on top of the AI. It acts as this new layer that forces the AI to slow down, organize its thoughts, and ensure every single step makes sense before moving on to the next one. It literally forces the AI to stay coherent and structured.
And because of that strict tutor, we get the Luminarch solution. It adds that missing layer of reasoning. Because the AI is forced to stay structured, it suddenly masters those interdisciplinary topics. It can easily juggle, say, biology and law at the exact same time without getting confused. It also easily handles high-context situations, remembering every tiny detail from the very beginning of your prompt all the way to the end. And honestly, maybe best of all, it delivers greater transparency. Going back to our math student analogy, Luminarch Prime forces the AI to show its work. You can see exactly how it arrived at its conclusion. No more guessing.
Let's move right along to our third section and see how this builds into a direct head-to-head matchup. Standard AI versus Luminarch Prime.
Seeing them side by side really makes the upgrade obvious, doesn't it? On the left, we have standard AI. It's fast, yeah, but it struggles when the context gets too high, and it operates inside a total black box, lacking any transparent structure. But over on the right, we have Luminarch Prime. It is coherence-driven. It provides massive structure and total transparency. Guys, it's literally the difference between driving a race car completely blindfolded versus driving that same exact race car with a highly advanced GPS system guiding your every single turn.
This breakdown brilliantly illustrates the upgrade. When it comes to reasoning structure, standard AI is unstructured and opaque, meaning it's totally cloudy and unclear. But Luminarch Prime is coherence-driven, keeping everything logically tied together. For problem solving, standard AI fails when topics mix together, but Luminarch is built from the ground up for those exact interdisciplinary challenges. For context handling, standard AI totally loses the plot when there are too many details, while Luminarch retains every single piece of high-context information perfectly. And finally, transparency. Standard AI is super low, but Luminarch gives you that greater transparency you desperately need to actually trust the final answer. It just totally outperforms the old standard in every single complex category.
So we know the technology is incredibly sound. But what does this actually mean for us? Let's step out of the abstract for a minute and into our final section, real-world impact. To truly understand the workflow of the future, let's walk through 3 simple steps. Step 1, an AI faces a difficult, high-context problem. Imagine a doctor feeding an AI a patient's 10-year medical history alongside their current symptoms and their genetic profile. I mean, that is a massive amount of context. Standard AI might lose important details and give a really bad diagnosis. But then, step 2 happens. Luminarch Prime applies its coherence-driven structure. It takes all that massive medical data, organizes it logically, connects the dots step by step, and flat-out refuses to lose the plot. Which leads us directly to step 3. The AI delivers a transparent, highly accurate solution. The doctor gets a safe, reliable diagnosis, and they can see exactly the structured reasoning the AI used to get there. This is going to safely guide AI through complex fields like healthcare, advanced engineering, and complex law. It's a real game changer. Well, we've reached the end of our explainer today, but I want to leave you with this one final thought. How will this missing layer of AI transform your industry? Because the truth is, the days of AI making silly mistakes just because it got confused by too much information, those days are coming to an end. With Kevin L. Brown's THD research powering this new framework, Luminarch Prime is bringing structure, logic, and total transparency to the machines we rely on every day. So whether you work in construction, finance, education, or healthcare, when AI finally has the power to reason through complex problems flawlessly, how will that change what you do tomorrow? Really think about it. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I will see you next time.